8 lives lost. Just off the coast of Rhodes. A child among them. It's a speedboat full of migrants trying to outrun a Greek patrol vessel. And, it's a story we hear far too often in the Aegean Sea. For those of you following the latest developments in migrant crossings, you know what I'm talking about. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into this specific tragedy and really trying to see how it connects to this larger ongoing crisis in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, it's a really awful story. This speedboat, it was trying to escape capture when the driver lost control and collided with that patrol boat. They were able to pull 18 survivors from the water, many of them with injuries. But the search is still ongoing for others who might still be out there.
And, the Greek shipping minister didn't really hold back. He called the smugglers behind these trips ruthless, which, really, I think speaks to the level of desperation we're talking about. But the thing that really got me was that this was in the Aegeans, not the central Mediterranean, where we normally hear these stories.
Yeah, right. No, that's a great point. Because you're right, the central Mediterranean route is certainly more heavily trafficked. But the Aegean Sea is just as dangerous. What we're seeing is that smugglers are always trying to find new ways around these patrols, constantly changing their tactics. And, this incident off the coast of Rhodes just shows how dangerous that can be.
Yeah, it really does. And it makes you think about the human cost. All these thousands of people risking their lives. And the numbers are just, they're staggering. This year alone, over 180,000 people have arrived in Europe by sea, with over 50,000 landing in Greece.
And that's just the people who made it. It's easy to forget. But there are almost 2,000 people dead or missing just this year. And remember the Samos incident last month. 8 people were rescued from the water, and 6 of them were children. Almost a quarter of everyone arriving on these boats are children.
That's just, it's hard to hear. It makes you wonder, what would drive someone to risk so much, to take a chance like that? And why do you think we've seen this surge in crossings since August?
It's complicated. There's a lot going on. Conflicts in places like Syria and Afghanistan continue to displace people. And then you have economic hardship, a lack of opportunity. And then, of course, there's climate change. That's something that's really disrupting people's lives and livelihoods. The August increase, well, that could be to a few things. The weather's better then, which makes the trip a little less dangerous. But it could also have to do with shifting political situations in some of the key departure countries.
So it really is like this perfect storm of different factors. It feels almost hopeless. We hear about these tragedies, about the numbers. But what can we actually do?
I think that's the question, isn't it? We need a plan with multiple parts. I think it starts with greater international cooperation to address the root causes of migration. That means investing in conflict resolution, promoting economic development, and supporting communities that are vulnerable to climate change. And of course, the most important thing is to create safe, legal ways for people to seek refuge.
It's a lot to think about. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by how big this problem is.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But you know what? Among all the statistics, all the political debates, I think the most important thing is to remember the people. Those 2,000 people who we lost this year. They had families, dreams, ambitions. They were someone's child, someone's parent, someone's friend. It's important to remember that every number represents a real person whose life was tragically cut short.
Yeah. That's a powerful thought, and I think it's something we should all reflect on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive and taking the time to learn more about this incredibly complex issue.